What happens when a duchess, once hailed as a beacon of modern royalty, allegedly pulls a gun on live video, aimed not at the British press, not at a stranger, but at her ex-husband? That was the question hanging in the air like smoke as a viral live stream spiraled into a jaw-dropping crescendo. The screen pixelated. Viewers froze. And just before everything cut to black, the chilling clink of metal echoed through millions of speakers. A weapon in Meghan Markle's hand. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. You think you've heard everything about her, right? The fairy tale wedding, the royal exit, the Netflix documentaries, the Oprah confession. But this is something different. Because this time, Meghan didn't just break royal protocol. She allegedly broke the law. And her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, the man she left behind before the palaces and the prince. He's not just speaking out. He's threatening to expose a side of Meghan the world has never seen. Not just secrets, not just gossip. We're talking about evidence. Diaries, recordings, testimonies. And if even half of what he's hinting at is true, it could unravel everything. But let's back up. Because this story isn't just about a gun and a live stream. It's about control, power, ambition. It's about a woman who rose faster than anyone thought possible. And a man who watched it all from the shadows. A man who was there before the world knew her name. Before Buckingham Palace. Before Spotify deals and Archwell foundations. Before Harry. And now, after years of silence, Trevor is done staying quiet. What triggered this meltdown? What secrets are on the verge of being leaked? And why, after all this time, is Meghan Markle suddenly at the center of what could become the most scandalous royal-adjacent criminal case in decades? Let's start with the moment the world watched in horror. A seemingly casual Instagram live stream, hosted by Trevor Engelson. He hadn't spoken publicly about Meghan in years. In fact, most people barely remembered they were married. Hollywood insiders whispered about NDAs and private settlements. But then, on a quiet Thursday evening, Trevor went live. No press, no PR filter, just him, alone, and a camera. And who crashed it? Meghan. Yes, that Meghan. She wasn't scheduled. She wasn't invited. But suddenly, she appeared on screen, her tone sharp, her demeanor tense. The chat exploded. Over 30,000 people were watching within 5 minutes. They argued. They shouted. Then, Trevor said one word. A word that stopped Meghan cold. Diaries. What followed was chaos. You see, behind the royal smile and polished sound bites, there's always been whispers. Rumors of ambition turned ruthless. Friendships discarded like used napkins. Calculated moves cloaked as compassion. And now? Now, according to Trevor, it's all documented. Page by page. Entry by entry. Secrets scribbled down before the tiaras and titles. But why did he bring them up now? Because, as he claims, Meghan broke the unspoken pact. He was supposed to stay silent. She was supposed to stay gone. That was Trevor's cryptic line, before the tension skyrocketed and Meghan allegedly crossed a line that no public figure can afford to cross. According to multiple eyewitnesses and stream captures, Meghan's expression changed. Her voice dropped. And then, reportedly, she reached out of frame, returning seconds later with what appeared to be a small black firearm. Cue the panic. The chat went wild. Screenshots flew across Twitter. Reddit threads erupted. News outlets scrambled for statements. Was it real? Was it a prop? Was it a threat? One thing was clear. The live stream cut off instantly. Silence. Then confusion. Then fear. And shortly after, police cars were spotted outside Meghan's Montecito estate. The story broke like a dam. TMZ first. Then the Daily Mail. Then CNN. Royal commentators. Crisis PR firms. Lawyers. Everyone scrambling to understand what just happened. The public didn't just witness a celebrity meltdown. They witnessed a potential crime. And then came the kicker. Trevor disappeared. He hasn't been seen since that live stream. No public statement. No follow-up post. Just silence. His inner circle? Locked down. His lawyers? No comment. But behind that silence is a ticking time bomb. Because Trevor didn't just tease the diaries. He hinted at something much, much darker. He claimed he had video, audio, personal correspondence from the early days. If she comes after me, he reportedly told a friend, I'll take her down with me. Now pause. Take a breath. Because this isn't just tabloid fodder anymore. Meghan Markle, mother, duchess, media mogul, could be facing real criminal investigation. Potential charges, international headlines, and all of it broadcast in real time. But here's the twist. Meghan hasn't made an official statement. Not yet. Instead, leaks, rumors, her team spinning it as a manipulated video, claiming the gun was not real, suggesting Trevor fabricated the conflict for clout. But those close to Trevor say otherwise. They say this was years in the making, a storm that's been building ever since Meghan left him behind. You may be asking, why now? Why would a woman with 2 children and international attention risk it all in front of a live audience? Why would a man who's remained silent for over a decade suddenly choose this moment to go public? Because, according to those who know both, there's more at stake than reputation. There's legacy, there's vindication, there's revenge. And as we'll uncover in the chapters ahead, this story goes far beyond a live stream and a firearm. It stretches back to Meghan's early days in Hollywood, to a strategy she allegedly began long before she met Harry, to broken friendships, whispered threats, NDA buyouts, and scandals buried so deep, only Trevor had the map to dig them up. He was there for it all. And now, he's ready to talk. But not just talk, expose. Because according to our sources, what Meghan fears most isn't prison. It's the public finally seeing who she allegedly was before the fairy tale began. So brace yourself. Because what comes next isn't just a royal scandal. It's a reckoning. And it all starts with the man who was once just the ex, but now might be the one person powerful enough to take Meghan Markle down. But what did Trevor mean when he said the diaries are just the beginning? And where did he go after the live stream ended? The answers to those questions, and more, are coming. But be warned, what you're about to hear next may change everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle. Because when Trevor said he kept everything, he wasn't bluffing. What kind of man goes live to the world, knowing he's seconds away from detonating a decades-long secret? And what kind of woman crashes that stream with the fury of a cornered queen? Because that's what happened. And it didn't start with chaos. It started with stillness, with calculated calm, with Trevor Engelson staring directly into the camera. No script, no handlers, no edits. Just him, a glass of something amber in hand, and a loaded truth behind his eyes. Thursday night, 7:43 p.m. Pacific Time. Trevor clicks Go Live. No PR rollout. No teaser. Just a sudden notification on Instagram that lit up phones from LA to London. Trevor Engelson is live. At first, only a few hundred tuned in. Film industry people. Some curious followers. A few gossip hounds who remembered him as that guy Meghan used to be married to. But then, the chat started buzzing. Trevor wasn't talking about his latest project. He wasn't pitching a script or selling a memoir. He was talking about her. And within minutes, over 30,000 people had joined. He didn't name her at first. That's important. He just said, there are stories I've held onto for a long time. Some out of loyalty, some out of fear. But lately, I've realized silence only protects the wrong people. The chat lit up instantly. Is he talking about Meghan? He is. OMG. Drop the tea, king. But Trevor didn't blink. He leaned back, swirled his drink, and said something that would haunt the rest of the night. You ever watch someone reinvent themselves so thoroughly, you wonder if you ever knew them at all? That line, that was the match. The tone wasn't bitter, it was surgical, controlled, like a man about to conduct an autopsy of the past. He continued, I was married to a version of someone the world doesn't know. But maybe it's time they did. And then, casually, like it was no big deal, he reached beside him and held up a weathered black notebook. She used to write in these every night. Said it helped her manifest the life she deserved. Guess it worked. The notebook, the diary. That's when the comments became a wildfire. Screenshots, screen caps, live tweets, TikToks. Even mainstream media outlets started pinging alerts. Trevor Engelson goes live. Drops bombshell diary from Meghan Markle era. But Trevor wasn't yelling. He wasn't trash-talking. He was quiet, calm, deadly precise. He flipped the notebook open and read a line. I'll never be taken seriously in this town until I date someone with real power. Trevor is sweet, but he's not forever. The silence was deafening. Even Trevor looked momentarily stunned by his own choice. I read that for the first time 2 months before our divorce. Found it under the bed. His voice cracked slightly there. Not performative, just human. For the first time, he looked like a man reliving not gossip, but betrayal. Then he looked back up and dropped the next bomb. And the worst part is, this was tame. The rest? I kept it hidden. For years. So why now? Why this moment to go public? That's when it all changed. Trevor's eyes flicked to the screen. He paused. And then his tone shifted. Huh. Well, this is unexpected. The camera jiggled slightly. Someone had entered the frame off-screen. A voice. Female. Sharp. Controlled. Turn it off, Trevor. The chat exploded. Is that Meghan? No way she's there in person. WTF is happening. Trevor looked sideways. You want to tell them yourself, Meg? And just like that, there she was. Not the polished duchess from glossy magazine covers. Not the controlled image from interviews. No filters. No production team. Just Meghan Markle. Bare-faced. Unsmiling. Eyes dark with rage. Voice taut like a bowstring ready to snap. This is harassment. Trevor turned the camera to fully frame both of them. It's the truth. You're leaking private writings. You signed an NDA. You broke that NDA the day you went on Oprah and rewrote history. Boom. That line hit harder than any tabloid headline ever could. Because it wasn't just about two exes airing dirty laundry. This was war. A war between narratives. And now, millions were watching it live. Meghan leaned forward. Turn it off. Why? Scared they'll find out who you really are. You think they care about your sob story? No. I think they'll care about the receipts. And then he reached down. Another notebook. Then a flash drive. Then a folded letter. Want to explain this one? Trevor asked, waving the envelope. Meghan lunged forward. You don't get to do this. Neither do you, Meg. But here we are. The tension was unbearable. Thousands of people screen recording. The live stream number ticking past 112,000 viewers. And then, Trevor said it. The word that cracked the entire thing wide open. Diaries. Meghan froze. Her posture stiffened. Her jaw tightened. Trevor noticed. Didn't think I'd still have them, did you? You have no idea what you're playing with. Don't I? Silence. Meghan's eyes darted to the side. If you release that, it won't just hurt me. Good. Maybe it'll finally show people what you did to the ones who couldn't speak up. The venom in his voice was undeniable now. Controlled, but burning. Meghan, visibly shaken, backed away slightly. You're going to regret this, Trevor. Already do. Every day since I married you. Ouch. The chat went nuclear. Even the moderators couldn't keep up. It was no longer just gossip. This was something real. Raw. Dangerous. And then, Trevor leaned in and whispered, You want to play games? I haven't even shown them the video yet. Boom. That was it. Meghan's eyes widened. Her hand reached off screen. Trevor flinched. What are you doing? And then, the screen shook. A metallic glint. A quick motion. Trevor's voice, alarmed. Are you serious? The chat couldn't believe what they were seeing. A blur. A black object. Held in Meghan's hand. The comments became pure chaos. Is that a gun? Call the cops. This isn't real. Holy sh**t. Stop the stream. But Trevor didn't stop. He held his ground. You think that scares me now? Put it down, Meghan. Put it down. And then, click. Audio. Clear as day. A metal click. Not loud. But unmistakable. And just like that, the live stream cut out. Gone. No outro. No explanation. Just a black screen. Silence swept across the internet. But the chaos? Only just beginning. Because in the seconds after that click, 112,000 people had seen something they couldn't unsee. And within 20 minutes, flashing lights arrived at Meghan's Montecito estate. Police scanners lit up with keywords: domestic disturbance, potential firearm, celebrity residence. What the officers found when they arrived. That is where we go next. What's more dangerous than a gun on camera? A diary full of secrets, written by the woman holding it. Because long before she became Duchess of Sussex, long before Frogmore Cottage or royal tours or Netflix deals, Meghan Markle was writing things down. Late at night. In notebooks, journals, scrap pages stuffed into shoeboxes. Her dreams, her frustrations, her plans. Plans that, if Trevor Engelson is to be believed, weren't just romantic. They were ruthless. And now, those diaries are out. Let's rewind. Back to the very beginning. According to Trevor's longtime friend, who asked to remain anonymous but confirmed multiple details to sources, Meghan began journaling in detail around 2008. This wasn't your typical Dear Diary entry about mood swings and auditions. This was something else. She treated it like a playbook, the friend said. Like she was writing her future into existence. But she wasn't just dreaming. She was strategizing. One early entry, allegedly dated October 13, 2009, read, "I need access. I need visibility. Charity work, connections, powerful men. It's not about love, it's about trajectory. I'm not playing checkers here. You can hear it, can't you? That laser focus. That calculated hunger." But it didn't stop at ambition. Trevor, in the now-deleted Livestream, claimed to have dozens of pages that referenced real people, executives, producers, publicists, even a young British socialite Meghan described as a practice run. Another diary entry he briefly quoted, "The next man I marry will change my passport. If he's titled, even better." That was written years before Prince Harry entered the picture. Coincidence? Or prophecy? You tell me. But here's the catch. These diaries weren't just words on paper. Trevor says Meghan left one behind after they split. Forgotten in a storage box. Unlabeled. Dusty. But full of revelations. "I didn't even open it for a long time," he reportedly told a friend. "Part of me didn't want to see what I already suspected. But once he did, everything changed." He claims the diary outlined everything from Meghan's dissatisfaction with their marriage to her early flirtations with UK aristocracy. It wasn't about love. It was about reinvention. One of the most chilling entries Trevor highlighted? "He's kind, predictable, safe, but he's not famous. He won't get me past the velvet rope." Ouch. Imagine being the man reading that. Imagine realizing your wife wasn't in love with you. She was rehearsing for the next role. Now here's where it gets dark. Because it wasn't just Trevor who had access to these diaries. According to sources close to the situation, Meghan's former assistant, who left abruptly in 2017, kept scanned copies of select pages. Pages she allegedly considered insurance. When the Livestream incident exploded, she came forward. Privately. Anonymously. But with screenshots. And among those screenshots? An entry that referenced what Meghan called her Montecito Manifesto, a step-by-step outline of how she intended to pivot from royal wife to media empress without relying on the palace. Step 1. Exit gracefully. Step 2. Own the narrative. Step 3. Monetize the drama. Step 4. Silence the X. That last line. Now it feels like a threat. Let's pause for a second. Because maybe you're thinking, people journal all sorts of things. Dreams. Fantasies. They don't mean it. Sure. But what if the person writing those things actually did them? What if every entry wasn't just a reflection, but a mission? And what if the person holding those diaries now has nothing left to lose? Because Trevor, by all accounts, is done playing nice. Sources confirm that after the Livestream and Meghan's alleged gun incident, he turned the diaries over to his legal team. They're now reportedly being reviewed in relation to possible litigation. And possibly criminal implications. So what's in them? Here's what's rumored to be among the bombshells. Coded references to private conversations with Prince Harry before their official meeting date. Did their relationship begin earlier than the public was told? Mentions of high-level U.S. publicists who helped rebrand Meghan during the Suits era, including instructions to scrub former blog posts and manipulate Google results. Brutally candid opinions on senior royals. One entry allegedly refers to Kate Middleton as the last hurdle I'll need to charm, bland but beloved. Names of two celebrities Meghan allegedly had media-driven relationships with. These aren't love stories. They're described as visibility builders. And here's the most jaw-dropping entry so far. I know it sounds insane, but sometimes I wonder, if I played this right, I could become Queen of Hearts in a different way. Not the palace's puppet. America's Diana. That line is like a dagger through the whole, we just wanted privacy narrative. Because this wasn't about escaping the spotlight. It was about owning it. But where does that leave us now? Law enforcement is reportedly weighing whether the Livestream incident, combined with these diary leaks, creates a motive or narrative that changes Meghan's potential legal exposure. Meanwhile, palace insiders are rattled. One royal aide, speaking anonymously to a UK outlet, said, If even half of what's in those pages is true, Her Majesty would be spinning in her grave. And here's the brutal irony. Meghan spent years trying to reshape her image, trying to silence the British press, trying to bury the past. But now, her own words may be the thing that destroys her. Because Trevor isn't alone. Other ex-friends, former staff, even college acquaintances are starting to talk. And what they all seem to agree on. She documented everything, like breadcrumbs in a twisted fairy tale, leading straight to the truth. Let me ask you this. What would you do if someone had a diary that could ruin you? Would you beg? Would you pay them off? Would you pull a gun? We don't have the answer. Not yet. But what we do know, Trevor has more. In the live stream, just before the screen went black, he whispered one line. One that's burned into the internet forever. The diaries are just the beginning. So what else is there? What other evidence is locked away? What secrets could be so dangerous that Meghan allegedly lost control? And most chilling of all, what else did the police find when they arrived at her house? Because the gun was one thing, but what they discovered next, no one was ready for it. What happens when power, paranoia, and panic all collide on livestream? Because the moment Meghan Markle allegedly reached off-screen and returned holding a weapon, everything changed. The tone, the stakes, the way the world would view her from this moment forward. And for the 112,000 people watching live, it wasn't just a celebrity squabble. It was a turning point. A moment that blurred the lines between fame and fear, between royalty and recklessness, between storytelling and survival. Let's walk through it. Not with speculation, not with gossip, but with the footage, the witness accounts, and the digital fingerprints that refused to be erased. It was 8:11 p.m. Pacific time. The stream had been going for just under 30 minutes. Trevor had mentioned the diaries. Meghan had interrupted. The chat was spiraling. The screen was split between a man calmly calling out the past and a woman on edge, visibly unraveling. And then, according to both the stream capture and real-time reactions from viewers, Meghan stepped out of frame for roughly 6 seconds. When she returned, her posture had shifted. Her right hand was stiff. Her left hand trembled slightly. And in that right hand was what appeared to be a matte black object. Compact, shiny, angled. Some thought it was a phone. Others screamed it was a gun. Then came the sound. Just barely audible, but undeniable to those who knew it. Click. A metallic click. Not like a pen. Not like a camera. More like the unmistakable snap of a handgun's safety toggle. That's when the live stream exploded. WTF, did she just pull a gun? Tell me that's fake. Someone call 911 right now. We saw it. We all saw it. People panicked. Screenshots flooded Twitter. Reddit threads ballooned in seconds. TikTok live reacts were up within minutes. One user, a former Navy veteran, stitched the clip and said, "That wasn't a phone. That was a Sig Sauer P365. I'd bet my life on it." Law enforcement would later neither confirm nor deny the specific make and model. But within 8 minutes of the stream cutting out, police scanners in Montecito picked up a new call. Possible domestic. Female suspect. Alleged firearm on livestream. VIP residence. It didn't matter that Meghan was royalty. It didn't matter that she was once America's sweetheart, the modern duchess, the humanitarian mother. In that moment, she was a suspect. Now let's shift to the scene on the ground. According to 2 eyewitnesses who lived within sight of Meghan's estate, sirens were heard less than 10 minutes after the stream went dark. One resident, speaking to KTLA under condition of anonymity, said, "It was fast. No sirens at first. Just black SUVs, unmarked cruisers, tactical gear. I saw one of them unholster before he got to the gate." Police reportedly arrived with at least 3 patrol units, 2 plainclothes detectives, and 1 crisis negotiator. This wasn't just a precaution. They were prepared for an armed standoff. The optics? Terrifying. A woman once photographed holding her baby in the African sun, now potentially holding a gun in California night. Back inside, the situation had escalated. According to early statements, since partially redacted by legal counsel, there were 3 other people in the house during the livestream. A household staff member, a visiting personal assistant, a security consultant from a private firm. None of them were aware that Meghan had joined the livestream. None of them saw the weapon being retrieved. But all of them confirmed hearing the argument and the sound. The click. One reportedly texted another in the house. She's going off the rails. Something's wrong. By the time police knocked, Meghan had calmed, visibly. She opened the door herself. Body cam footage, not released to the public, but confirmed to exist, reportedly shows her stepping back slowly, palms open. No weapon visible. Officers entered. And then, after a brief, tense sweep, they found it. In the kitchen, on the marble counter. Unloaded. A Sig Sauer P365, with Meghan's fingerprints on it. Now pause. Think about this. Why would a duchess, knowing she's on camera, knowing the eyes of the world are watching, allegedly grab a firearm? What would drive someone who built a global brand on poise, grace, and controlled narratives to abandon all of it in a moment of emotional combustion? Was it fear? Desperation? Or was it something darker? A realization that the one man she couldn't control anymore had finally turned on her? Because Trevor wasn't bluffing. He had the diaries, the documents, the recordings, and Meghan knew it. So maybe, just maybe, it wasn't a threat. Maybe it was a warning. One last, desperate signal to stop. Back to the police report. While much of the document is still under seal, early leaks suggest the following sequence. Meghan answered the door. Officers requested entry. She complied. No resistance. No verbal aggression. The gun was found. She confirmed it was hers. Registered. She stated she brought it into view out of reflex, not intent. Trevor was not on site. He had left before police arrived. Left? How? When? That's the million-dollar question. Because no one saw him exit. Cameras at the gate didn't catch a vehicle. And yet, he was gone. Like he vanished into thin air. One insider believes Trevor left during Meghan's off-camera moment. Others claim he was never at the property and the live stream was remotely managed. But if that's true, then where was he? And who else knew what was about to happen? Let's return to the live stream itself. Digital forensics experts have analyzed the 31-minute clip before it was pulled from Instagram servers. Their findings? No signs of tampering. No signs of staging. This wasn't an act. It wasn't performance art. It was raw. And most damning of all, the final 0.4 seconds of the stream captured Meghan's voice, half a sentence, before the signal dropped. You think I won't do it? Cut. Just like that. The kind of sentence that doesn't need to finish to be terrifying. Because when someone says, you think I won't do it, and you see a weapon, what more needs to be said? In the hours following the incident, Meghan's team scrambled. A statement was rushed to press, reading, "The Duchess was startled and acting in a state of emotional distress after being provoked by false accusations. She did not brandish a weapon with intent. No one was harmed. We asked for privacy and compassion. But the damage was done. Clips of the stream were everywhere. Dissected. Analyzed. Reposted. Every frame scrutinized. Was it a real gun? Yes. Was the safety on? Unclear. Was it aimed? No. Was it threatening? That's the debate playing out across legal tables in California and PR war rooms in London. Because Meghan Markle isn't just a celebrity. She's an institution, a symbol, a polarizing figure whose every move is watched, celebrated, or condemned. And now, she may be criminally investigated. At best, reckless endangerment. At worst, brandishing a firearm during a domestic altercation, caught on camera, streamed live, and documented in real time by tens of thousands. And still, one question haunts every viewer. What was she going to do? Would she have used it? Was it a bluff? Or was that moment, the click, the only warning Trevor would ever get? Because after that, he disappeared. And Meghan? She wasn't arrested. Not yet. But she was detained, questioned, and told not to leave the county. Royal security was immediately notified. British tabloids went into overdrive. American networks clashed over how to frame it. Was she a victim of manipulation? Or a woman exposed? A duchess unraveling? Or a master manipulator caught in the act? You decide. But remember this. Trevor said the diaries were just the beginning. And as police combed through Meghan's home, looking for anything to explain what had just happened, they found something else. Something not in the live stream. Not in the kitchen, but locked in a drawer in her bedroom. Something that, when officers saw it, one reportedly muttered, "Okay, this just got deeper." What was it? A document? A photograph? A second gun? Whatever it was, it changed the entire direction of the investigation. And you won't believe who it involved. What could possibly be more incriminating than a duchess allegedly pulling a gun? 5 words. 5 words that weren't whispered in confidence, weren't overheard in a heated phone call, but spoken out loud, on camera, seconds before a weapon was revealed. Words that now sit at the center of a royal legal storm. Words that threatened to sever Meghan Markle's last remaining ties to the monarchy. And the moment they were uttered, they sent shockwaves not just through a room, not just across the Atlantic, but straight into Buckingham Palace itself. Let's rewind the tape. The stream was collapsing, tensions boiling. Trevor had just accused Meghan of trying to scrub history with PR, and she was pacing off-screen. He said it again. The diaries are just the beginning. Meghan returned, object in hand, eyes wide, and as Trevor glanced at her, his expression morphing from defiant to unnerved, he asked, "Meg, what are you doing?" And she snapped back, loud, sharp, without hesitation. "You'll regret this, Trevor. I promise." That was 4. But then, after a brief pause, she added the 5th. "I always finish what I start." Click. Screen black. And just like that, the internet froze. What do you make of those words? Simple? Emotional? Harmless? Not to the palace. Not to the attorneys now circling this case like vultures. And certainly not to the 112,000 people who heard them, many of whom believe they'd just witnessed a veiled threat. Because context is everything. This wasn't a quiet conversation behind closed doors. It was a live stream argument that ended with an alleged firearm in view. Those 5 words, spoken in the heat of confrontation, became evidence. And in the court of public opinion, they became prophecy. Now here's where things go nuclear. According to royal protocol experts and constitutional historians interviewed by The Times and The Guardian, Meghan's use of "I always finish what I start" in such a scenario may not carry legal weight, but it does carry reputational weight. Especially when you hold the title Duchess of Sussex. Especially when that title is still technically bestowed by the British monarchy. And especially when the late Queen herself had made it clear, any behavior that brings the crown into disrepute may lead to reassessment of formal titles and privileges. Palace insiders were reportedly briefed within hours of the live stream's viral fallout. The wording of the initial memo? Urgent review required. Assess reputational impact of Sussex conduct in light of U.S. developments. Translation? The firm is watching. Let's go back to those words for a second. You'll regret this, Trevor. I promise. I always finish what I start. They're not dramatic because of how they were said. They're dramatic because of what they imply. Power, control, a warning, and most terrifying of all, premeditation. Because if Meghan truly meant those words, if she had planned to confront Trevor, knowing what he was about to expose, then the alleged gun wasn't an accident. It was a message, and that message? Back down, or face the consequences. Let that sink in. Now here's the kicker. Multiple body language analysts, former law enforcement officers, and psychological experts have weighed in on the clip. Dr. Helena Maxon, a renowned behavioral psychologist from Stanford, posted this. When someone uses a phrase like, "I always finish what I start" in the context of confrontation, it signals a deeply ingrained narrative, one where they are the hero and everyone else is either an obstacle or a villain. It's not a threat. It's a promise of escalation. And that's exactly what happened. Because the live stream wasn't the end of it. It was the spark. Within 24 hours, Meghan's legal team filed a motion for invasion of privacy, trying to block Trevor from releasing the diaries. Trevor's lawyers responded with a countersuit, citing retaliatory intimidation. The Montecito Police Department confirmed a full investigation was underway. And the British press? Blood in the water. Every outlet from the Daily Mail to Sky News ran variations of the same brutal headline. Meghan Markle's 5 words that could end it all. Even The Sun, not known for subtlety, ran a front page simply titled, "The Promise." But let's pause and ask the real question. What exactly could these 5 words cost Meghan? Let's break it down. Her title. While Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down as senior working royals in 2020, they were permitted to keep their Duke and Duchess titles. But those titles can be revoked by the reigning monarch with parliamentary support. A scenario that, until now, seemed politically impossible. But not anymore. Sources close to the palace say King Charles is deeply disturbed by the live stream incident. One insider reportedly heard him say, "Enough is enough. Her security arrangements. While Meghan no longer receives official UK royal protection, private international security firms often coordinate with royal-adjacent entities. But with a potential criminal investigation underway, those partnerships are at risk. No palace wants their contractors linked to a Livestream standoff. Her brand. From archetypes to Netflix, Meghan built her post-royal empire on empathy, empowerment, and controlled vulnerability. But how do you market a global humanitarian when she's being investigated for brandishing a gun on Livestream and threatening her ex-husband? Sponsors, partnerships, all of it, now under review. Her custody image. Don't forget, Meghan is a mother of two. And family court isn't just about facts. It's about perception. Those 5 words. They could shift everything. And if you think this is all media exaggeration, think again. According to insiders, one of Meghan's own allies in the States, an A-list actress who once publicly defended her, sent her a private message just one day after the stream. The message was brief. Just 3 words. What were you thinking? If her friends are nervous, imagine what her enemies are preparing. Now, remember the item found in her bedroom? The one that caused police to reportedly say, "Okay, this just got deeper." Initial reports were vague, deliberately, but a source inside the investigation has now leaked a major clue. It was a photograph, not of Meghan, not of Trevor, but of a third party, someone neither law enforcement nor the public expected to be tied to this at all. A man with his own secrets, a royal with his own fall from grace. And the second police saw it, they realized this wasn't just about Trevor. This was about everything. Because the man in that photo was Prince Andrew. Why was a printed photo of Meghan and Andrew hidden in a drawer? What was the context? Was it intimate, innocent, staged, or secret? We don't know yet. But here's what's leaked so far. The photo was taken years ago, before Meghan met Harry. It shows Meghan and Andrew in a private room. No other people. No visible context. Meghan appears to be holding a drink. Andrew's hand rests on the back of her chair. It was not previously published anywhere. Why keep it? Why hide it? And why now? Trevor has made no public comment, yet, about the photo. But he did say one thing before vanishing after the live stream. The man in that picture, he's the one she was really scared I'd talk about. So what does that mean? Was there an affair? A connection? A cover-up? One thing is certain. The narrative has shifted again. And this time, it's not just Meghan's title on the line. It's the truth about a relationship no one was ever supposed to question. She opened the door calmly, hair slightly tousled. No makeup. A worn navy sweater. Not the image the world was used to. Not the composed Duchess of Sussex with practiced poise and perfectly curated posture. No, this was different. This was the Meghan Markle who had just gone off script and stepped into something no publicist, no PR firm, no royal advisor could spin away. And standing at her front door? 5 officers. Body cams rolling. Weapons holstered, but hands twitching. Because this wasn't a welfare check. This was a response to a possible armed threat. Live streamed to over 100,000 viewers. An incident that had already spiraled across international headlines before Meghan even opened the door. The Duchess didn't resist. But what came next would make headlines for days. Let's reconstruct the timeline, minute by minute. 8:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Livestream cuts off after Meghan allegedly brandishes a firearm and speaks the now infamous 5 words. "I always finish what I start." 8:13 p.m. Calls begin flooding into the Montecito Police Department from viewers across the globe. Many use the phrase celebrity in danger, gun drawn, and possible hostage situation. 8:17 p.m. Dispatch logs describe incident as Code 836. Possible domestic dispute with weapon involved. 8:21 p.m. First patrol car arrives at the estate gate. Within 2 minutes, 2 additional units, including plainclothes officers, arrive. 8:24 p.m. Body cams activated. Officers enter the premises with clearance from the private security team. 8:25 p.m. Meghan opens the door herself. And from that moment forward, every second was recorded. What did the cameras capture? We haven't seen the footage yet, but leaked descriptions from those who've reviewed it paint a revealing picture. Meghan greets officers with a tight-lipped nod. No signs of panic. No tears. She doesn't ask why they're there. Because she knows. "Yes, come in," she says, backing up slowly with hands visible. I understand why you're here. According to the incident report, she appears composed, cooperative, but emotionally flat. Her tone is described as cool, her body language defensive but not erratic. The officers move room to room, beginning with the study, where the live stream originated. Trevor Engelson is nowhere to be found. There's no sign of him, no car in the driveway, no activity in the security logs that shows him arriving or leaving. That, in itself, is strange. Was the live stream remote? Was it pre-scheduled? Or did Trevor leave during the chaos? Still unclear. But what is clear? The gun is there, on the marble countertop in the kitchen. It's a Sig Sauer P365. Compact, stylish, favored by women for its grip and size. Registered under Meghan's name, acquired legally in California in 2023 after reported threats from online stalkers. One bullet in the chamber. Safety on. No discharge. Officers confirm Meghan was the only person home when they arrived, aside from 2 staff members, a personal assistant, and a housekeeper. The assistant is interviewed first. She's young, mid-20s, has only worked for Meghan for 4 months. She tells officers, "I heard yelling. I thought it was another argument with Harry, but then I realized the voice was different." When asked if she saw the firearm, she hesitates. I saw her come back into the room holding something black. I didn't get close." And then she says something chilling. "But it wasn't the gun that scared me. It was her face. She looked like someone who'd just snapped." Next, the housekeeper. She's older, Latina, been with the family since 2020. She tells police, "Senora Meghan is always in control. Always." That night, she was shaking, but angry. Very angry. "I stayed in the laundry room." She didn't see the weapon either, but confirms hearing the argument. And then, the sound. A click. Like a hard snap. Not a door. Not a glass. Officers confirm the click matches the model of the handgun's trigger tension. They collect fingerprints. They take statements. And then, they enter Meghan's bedroom. That's where they find 2 new pieces of evidence. First, the now infamous photo of Meghan and Prince Andrew. Second, a handwritten note. Folded. Unlabeled. But addressed to T. Short for Trevor? Inside, it reads, "If you do this, you leave me no choice. You know what I'm capable of. Don't make me become that version of myself again." No signature. No date. But it's Meghan's handwriting. That much is confirmed. And that note? That could shift everything. Because suddenly, this isn't just about one bad moment on camera. It's about premeditation. About warnings. About patterns of manipulation and control. The kind that police and the court do not ignore. So, was Meghan arrested? The technical answer: not yet. She was detained, questioned for nearly 2 hours. But due to the complexity of her public profile, legal protections, and the ongoing investigation, officers made a controversial decision. Release with monitoring. She was not handcuffed. She was not taken into custody. But she was issued a temporary restraining order, pending court review. And she was warned, "Leave the county, and you will be charged with obstruction." Her weapon was confiscated. Her home security was replaced. By force, Montecito PD ordered a third-party monitoring agency to oversee the property. Discreet, silent, but watching. And as for Trevor, still missing. His phone is off. His agent isn't returning calls. But his lawyers? They're talking. In a press statement released 18 hours later, his legal team dropped the following bombshell. Mr. Engelson is safe. He has no intention of retaliating. But should further provocations occur, we are prepared to proceed with full disclosure. Full disclosure. 2 words that have the royal family in a tailspin. Because here's what we now know. The diaries exist. Multiple volumes, including one allegedly titled Manifesting Royalty. There is an audio file of Meghan allegedly mocking Kate Middleton and Camilla in graphic, expletive-laced terms, intended only for Trevor's ears. There is a video, unseen by the public, filmed during Meghan's deal or no deal days. According to insiders, it includes her describing how to play men in power like a piano. There is proof of private correspondence between Meghan and an undisclosed member of the royal household before her official meeting with Harry. And all of that is reportedly ready to go public if Trevor is subpoenaed or silenced. So where does that leave Meghan? In a pressure cooker. Sources say she's furious behind closed doors. She believes she's being hunted, set up, and betrayed by people she trusted. The palace? Radio silent. But behind the scenes, King Charles has ordered what insiders are calling the Sussex Review, a complete audit of Meghan's titles, her association with royal charities, any formal representation of the crown through her image or branding. And get this, Prince William allegedly refused to be briefed. He reportedly told a senior aide, "Let the courts deal with it. I'm done." Which brings us to the final, haunting moment of the arrest. As Meghan signed the temporary release form, one of the officers, unaware his body cam was still recording, asked a simple, off-the-record question. "Do you regret anything?" Meghan stared for a moment, then smiled, tight, controlled. "Only that I trusted the wrong man." Who was she referring to? Trevor? Harry? Andrew? The media? Your guess is as good as anyone's. But one thing's for sure. The woman who once walked down the aisle to global adoration now walks a razor's edge. And what's coming next? It's not just a court date. It's a reckoning. Because Meghan may have walked out of her home without cuffs that night. But the past she tried to bury? That's coming back with handcuffs. He was the face of the storm. The man who cracked open a hidden chapter of royal history. The ex-husband who, for years, held his silence like a vault, until he didn't. And then, he vanished. Trevor Engelson, once a Hollywood producer content to remain a quiet footnote in Meghan Markle's rise, had just dropped a truth bomb on the world. He went live. He teased secret diaries. He stood his ground as his ex-wife allegedly pulled a gun. And within minutes of the live stream ending, he was gone. No statement. No apology. No follow-up. Not even a paparazzi shot of him ducking into an Uber. Just silence. So the question is simple, yet terrifying. Where is Trevor Engelson? And why hasn't anyone seen him since? Let's break this down. When police arrived at Meghan's Montecito estate, Trevor was nowhere on the property. According to the incident report, Meghan stated he had left in a hurry before the situation escalated. But security logs at the gate told a different story. There was no record of his vehicle leaving. No door cam footage. No guard checkout. No license plate pings. Not even a trace on nearby traffic cams. It was as if he disappeared into the walls. Speculation ran wild. Some believed he escaped through a side entrance, one used only by staff and rarely logged. Others claimed he was never physically there at all, that the entire live stream was remote, filmed from a safe house, projected onto a private server that simulated a face-to-face confrontation. It sounds far-fetched until you remember Trevor is a producer. He knows how to stage a scene. He knows how to direct tension. And if he feared for his safety, as insiders now suggest, then he may have orchestrated this entire sequence like a thriller. The only difference? This time, it wasn't fiction. But the deeper question isn't just where he is. It's why he disappeared. Because if he wanted press, he had it. If he wanted vindication, he got it. If he wanted to break the internet, well, mission accomplished. So what made him go dark? Some believe he's protecting the evidence. According to two separate sources with ties to his former legal team, Trevor entrusted key pieces of information, including diaries, video files, and emails, to a digital vault 2 weeks before the livestream. That vault is secured in Switzerland, with timed release protocols. In other words, even if something happens to Trevor, the material will still get out. This isn't just a man airing grievances. This is a man who planned a takedown. And now, he's the most hunted ex-husband in Hollywood. Let's talk about motive. For years, Trevor stayed silent. He never sold his story, never wrote a book, never went on reality TV. Even when Meghan began rewriting their history on camera, he stayed in the background. So what changed? According to someone in his inner circle, what changed was the lies. It wasn't just Oprah. It wasn't just Netflix. It was the deliberate erasure. The interviews where Meghan claimed she barely remembered her first marriage. The implications that he had somehow held her back, failed to support her dreams. And most painful of all, the suggestion that she had rescued herself, alone. She made it sound like she was trapped in some meaningless marriage, the source said. Like Trevor was a phase, a prop. And that's not how it was. He was there during the auditions, the rejection letters, the bad reviews. He helped her build the TIG. He paid her rent when Suits was still just a maybe. He introduced her to her first serious publicist, gave her notes on early scripts, flew cross-country to meet casting directors. He believed in her. Until, one day, she stopped needing him and started climbing higher. But let's not get sentimental. Because Trevor's silence wasn't just noble. It was strategic. Some say he waited for the moment when Meghan had the most to lose. Others claim he struck out of self-defense, fearing that Meghan's legal team was preparing to leak stories that would smear him ahead of a custody hearing. Yes, custody. Of what? Not a child. A project. Sources close to Meghan suggest she had recently attempted to block Trevor from releasing a television script based loosely on their past. The show, titled Palm Trees and Paper Crowns, was in pre-production. Its premise? A woman leaves a kind but underwhelming husband to pursue fame, only to realize the palace gates aren't made of gold, but glass. Sound familiar? According to insiders, Meghan's team viewed the script as a personal attack. They threatened legal action. Trevor didn't back down. Instead, he went live. So now he's in hiding. Or more accurately, he's been disappeared. And his silence? It's a time bomb. Because his attorneys are talking. And what they're saying paints a terrifying picture of what's still to come. One lawyer, speaking under the condition of anonymity, said, "The live stream was the preview. The trailer. The opening act. What's next is the full documentary." What kind of documentary? One that reportedly includes video diaries, Meghan speaking candidly about fame, ambition, and gaming the system, unpublished drafts of the TIG blog, entries that take aim at certain royal family members with sarcasm and contempt, texts between Meghan and a known political lobbyist where she discusses the idea of royal reform from the inside, and perhaps most damning of all, a recorded phone call from 2015, allegedly between Meghan and a close friend, where she says, "If I play this right, I'll never need to audition again." Innocent? Maybe. But in the wake of a live stream meltdown, an alleged firearm incident, and mounting legal chaos, every word matters. Meanwhile, royal staff are scrambling. Buckingham Palace has entered what one aide calls emergency contingency mode. Senior officials are drafting a distance statement, a PR maneuver that would formally distance the crown from Meghan without stripping her titles, unless legally compelled. King Charles has asked for weekly intelligence updates. Prince William is pushing for a full title review. And Harry? Still silent. No social media posts. No statements. Not even a denial. Some say he's in crisis talks with lawyers. Others say he's been blindsided. But if Meghan is a storm, then Harry is the eye. Still, quiet, but not safe. And where is Trevor? No confirmed sightings. But leaked jet logs show a private flight from Santa Barbara to Vancouver the night of the live stream. Passenger listed under a pseudonym. Destination? A property once leased by Netflix producers for isolated documentary shooting. Coincidence? Or preparation? Because if Trevor is filming something, building a timeline, crafting a release, then the world may be about to hear the unedited truth. The story Meghan tried to control, the man she tried to silence, and the version of herself she never wanted seen. So we circle back to the beginning. Where is Trevor Engelson? We don't know for sure, but we know this. He's alive. He's holding the cards. And he's watching, waiting. And if he presses upload, if he hits publish on what he's been preparing, then Meghan's world won't just collapse. It'll implode. Because according to Trevor's own lawyer, the truth is coming, whether Meghan is ready or not. She wasn't wearing a crown. She wasn't speaking in royal riddles. There were no pearls, no protocol, no rehearsed narratives. It was 2011. Meghan Markle was sitting on a beige couch in a modest Los Angeles apartment, cross-legged, barefoot, and uncensored. A glass of rose in her hand, a loud laugh echoing between sips, and a candidness that would later be labeled dangerous. The tape was casual, too casual, and that's exactly why it's terrifying. Because in this grainy, handheld recording, allegedly captured during a low-key get-together with industry friends, Meghan didn't hold back. She wasn't just honest. She was strategic, blunt, calculated, shockingly prophetic. And now, more than a decade later, that tape has surfaced, and it may just blow everything wide open. Let's rewind to the moment it was leaked. 2 days after Meghan's alleged live stream meltdown and police intervention, an anonymous Dropbox link was sent to 3 major media outlets: TMZ, The Telegraph, Variety. The subject line was simple: before the crown, there was the plan. Inside the folder, one 46-minute video. Date stamped, July 9th, 2011. File name, mm_uncut_bungalow.mov. The sender? Untraceable. But the contents? Verified. Multiple sources, including 2 who were present that night, confirmed the video's authenticity. And what it shows is Meghan Markle, completely unfiltered. She's younger, fresher-faced, wearing yoga pants and a UCLA hoodie. No team, no lighting, no spin, just real talk. The setting appears to be a small industry networking party hosted by a casting assistant from USA Network. A few mid-level producers, actors, and 2 agents are casually drinking and gossiping about the business. And Meghan? She's the star of the conversation. At one point, the camera pans to her mid-rant, laughing as she mimics a British accent. "Darling, I just think America is ghastly," she says, mocking what she calls the elite speak. The room bursts into laughter. She follows up. "Honestly, the British thing is all smoke and mirrors. People eat it up. Titles, castles, weird rules. It's like adult cosplay. But if you can play it right, you get the golden ticket." Pause. The camera pans to someone off-screen who asks, "Would you ever go full royal?" Meghan's response, deadpan, "If I could marry into it. Hell yes. It's like the ultimate PR contract." You could hear a pin drop. Even her friends weren't sure if she was joking. Then she grinned, raised her glass, and added, "But I do it my way. Diana 2.0. Less pearls, more press control." Stop and let that sink in. Diana 2.0. The ultimate PR contract. This wasn't a woman who stumbled into royalty. This was a woman who saw it coming. Long before Harry. Long before the palace. Long before the "we just wanted privacy" narrative. She knew exactly what it could become. And she was already sketching the blueprint. But the tape doesn't stop there. She continues, getting increasingly animated with each glass of wine. "LA isn't going to cut it for me. I need international legs. I want my name in The Guardian, not just People. You know, Suits is cool, but it's not forever. I'm trying to think big picture, like legacy moves." She then leans into the camera, knowingly, half mocking, and says, "This is off the record, right?" The room laughs, but the camera doesn't stop rolling. She moves on to discuss branding. "I want a foundation. Something humanitarian, but sexy. Charity chic. Not soup kitchens. More like Amal Clooney meets Beyoncé with a sprinkle of Angelina Jolie." She says it all with a smile. But it's not the smile of a dreamer. It's the smile of someone already calculating, already planning the story before the story begins. And then, around minute 31, comes the part that rattled even those who knew her well. A male voice, believed to be a junior writer from a TV pilot she guest starred in, asks, "What about Trevor? You think he'll be cool with you moving to Europe if that's where it takes you?" Meghan pauses, tilts her head. "Trevor's sweet. He's supportive. But he's a Hollywood guy. If I go international, I don't think he's built for that." Then, with a wink, "But don't worry. I'll send him a thank you basket." Ouch. That's not just a red flag. That's a waving banner of ruthless intent. Trevor wasn't a partner in her dream. He was a step on the ladder. A ladder she planned to outgrow. And she did. But here's what makes this tape truly explosive in 2025. It directly contradicts almost every public statement Meghan has ever made about her relationship with fame, her accidental rise to royalty, her deep shock at the pressures of royal life, her insistence that she never researched the royal family, her portrayal of the British institution as a cage she didn't see coming. In this video, she lays it out, with clarity, with humor, and most damning of all, with intent. It's not about marrying a prince. It's about becoming a queen in my own narrative, she says near the end, twirling a strand of hair. And when I do, I'll make it look like it just happened. Mic drop. So why wasn't this tape released earlier? According to sources, it was buried. The original host of the party, who later became a Meghan supporter, allegedly paid to have the footage scrubbed when Meghan's relationship with Prince Harry went public in 2016. The hard drive was destroyed, or so they thought. Turns out, a backup existed. And now, it's out. The internet has already dubbed it the Markle Manifesto. Hashtag Markle tape is trending on Twitter. Clips are being dissected frame by frame on YouTube. And royal commentators are calling it the moment the mask slips. Even the Times weighed in with this brutal editorial. We were told she was a victim of the system, a woman crushed under centuries of tradition. But the 2011 tape reveals something else entirely. A woman not only aware of the game, but determined to play it better than anyone else. Back at Buckingham Palace, crisis. Palace aides have reportedly ordered a full legal inquiry into the implications of the tape. Could it be used to strip Meghan's title? Could it affect her legal standing in the UK? Could it finally force Prince Harry to confront the version of Meghan he never saw coming? Because remember, this wasn't some stranger. This was his wife. And if she planned the fairy tale before even meeting him, then what does that make him? A partner? Or a prop? There's one last moment in the tape that deserves attention. At the 44-minute mark, the camera wobbles as people start to leave. Meghan is half drunk, relaxed, but suddenly reflective. She turns to the camera one last time. People are going to say whatever they want. That I'm calculating. That I'm fake. She shrugs. Maybe I am. Or maybe I just know how to play the long game. Then she finishes her drink and says, either way, I'll win. Watch. Cut to black. And now, in 2025, the world is watching. The mask is off. The tape is real. And the damage? Still unfolding. Because if Meghan was playing a long game, then she's running out of moves. And someone, somewhere, just flipped the board.